Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this week's One Piece review. This time, we will be talking about episodes 9 to 14. So for context, if it's been a while since you've watched these early episodes of One Piece, this is covering the start, or this is covering part of the Syrup Village arc, which is going to be from the beginning of the arc until episode 14, which ends with Luffy punching Kuro in the face for the first time. I don't know, maybe he'll punch him again, but he punches him in the face for the first time with his long extended arm. So that's the context. Now, this is probably going to be a bit shorter because I don't have too much to say this time. For context, if you're for some reason watching this for the first time, I have seen the live action for this. So a lot of the stuff that we're seeing here, I'm already quite familiar with it. Like, I know the general direction the arc goes, I guess. So, I guess my first thing to say is that, firstly, I liked all this. Secondly, I am eventually looking forward to getting to new stuff that I'm not actually familiar with, because I think it would be much more interesting, and I'll be like, wow, I couldn't see that coming, and that was very unexpected and all that. But anyway, my high-level notes for this arc are that Usopp is great. We like Usopp. Now, again, this also isn't the first time I've seen Usopp even in the show, because I have seen that movie, the first and the second movie, where he's pretty much like a pretty big character in both of them. But, this was more of the same. We like Usopp. I think he's really good. I like the setting of Syrup Village, and I think the biggest thing to say is that this was unbelievably different from the actual live-action show that I've seen. Once again, it is funny. I think that first arc is the only arc that was like somewhat similar to it, but this is the what do you call it? The Orange Town arc was very different, and this one is incredibly different too so far. Now, maybe the rest of the episodes will take place in the mansion, and they'll be like hiding in the walls like they were in that live-action show, and they'll be eating this blue liquid that will like put Luffy out of community. I don't think they're doing any of that though. I think it's just very different. Like, even just the setting is so different. Like, we're fighting on a hill. Like, it's very small scale, but like, it's kind of cool. Yeah, I think it'll continue to amaze me how people enjoy this One Piece live action show so much, but just don't enjoy the Cowboy Bebop one. But it is what it is. But yeah, to be honest, I don't have too many high-level notes to say. My one, thing that I have to say, which is somewhat specific, but it is also, a high-level thing, which is that, oh my god, for the first time, we got a scene that I thought was interestingly directed. And I was like, wow, I wonder why. Like, did someone special direct this? Or, did they just decide, we're going to make this one special? Maybe the manga was, interestingly framed, so they adapted it in an interesting way. But I'm talking about the scene where Klahadore, is that how you say it? I have no idea. But Kuro, when he kills Mary, and the lights in the room turn very dark for a second, and it turns basically into a night scene, and then we get this silhouette shot of him slicing Mary, and then even the end of that scene is even cooler, where it's basically this long shot where we're holding on Klahadore as he's walking down this slanted hallway. And it's super cool, and One Piece has not done anything like this before, so I'm sure eventually One Piece will have interesting visual stuff. Right now it doesn't. It's not perfect, of course. For instance, the fighting animation when Zoro was fighting those two cat people, that was unbelievably terrible. And overall it's just pretty much, it's very, 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 very mid in terms of production at the moment. But that was a cool directed scene, so I was very happy with that. Now that's basically all the high-level notes. So now I just have a bunch of miscellaneous notes, so maybe this will be a very short one. But the first thing to say is the moonwalking hypnotist guy, I liked him. It was very funny. He was not in the show, the live action show at all, at least not that I remember. Maybe they adapted him in a weird way, but unexpected, funny. He had a good gag with him passing out and then Luffy also passing out. That's very funny. I like that. So yeah, we like him. Oh, another thing which I found actually somewhat interesting is that I knew going into this that Klahadore, also I have no idea if that's how you pronounce it, but I had no idea that, I knew completely going into this because of the live action that Klahadore is obviously, I knew his whole shtick, right? I knew that he's out to get Kaya, he wants her wealth, blah, 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 blah. But I was impressed by how firmly and sincerely they play Klahadore at the beginning of this, where it's he gets punched by Usopp and gets knocked down or whatever, which is whoa, oh my god, I can't believe it, he just took a punch, and that was kind of crazy. And then after that he goes and he has this sympathetic scene where he's talking to Kaya and he's sitting on her bed calmly and is giving his tragic backstory and he's smiling genuinely at her, and I'm wow, this is obviously I know he's evil, but if I was watching this for the first time, I wouldn't doubt him at all. He comes across completely genuine, and obviously this is intentional by the show, but I think they did a good job of at least making him genuinely seem very genuine and a nice person initially, so kind of cool. Zoro continues to be funny and continues to defy, for some reason, this expectation I have of him that is a very stern, edgy guy. And the example I have here is that when he tells the kids in the diner that he ate their captain, that was very funny. So we love Zoro. Nami continues to be very cute. We like her. And when I say cute, it's probably just the best word to use. And the example I have to kind of explain what I'm talking about is when Usopp is meeting them for the first time, and he's high up on the ledge, and they're down at the bottom on the sand and the ships or whatever. And Nami basically immediately calls out his lies and like does it in a very like smiley way. And I'm like, oh, this is like very cute. This is very like one of the things I like about Nami. So I don't know. I'm sure there's a better word for it besides cute, but it's like the best thing I can come up with. But yeah, so Nami's great. Oh my god, we had this great reveal about Klahadore and what, or like Kuro, I guess, and why he's like pushing up his glasses like this. And it's because he has a habit of like his like claws or whatever you call it, so he doesn't scratch his face. And I was like, oh, that's like super cute detail, you know? So I like that. We also get this very interesting thing, which kind of was very unexpected to me for some reason, but it probably shouldn't be. It was just like a tonal like, oh wow, I can't believe One Piece is doing this, where we saw a flashback of a body double of Kuro getting executed by the Marines in a very like grounded, like, we're gonna have him tied up and we're gonna shoot him, and it's like a proper like execution. And for some reason, I guess I never really, like, I know Gold Roger obviously died at the beginning. I remember at least seeing that in the, well, I guess we don't technically see him die, but like he gets executed. I know that. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that people would get executed in One Piece, but to see such a grounded execution scene was like, wow, this feels like very different than I was expecting. So that was, yeah, a thing I noticed. Another interesting thing is that Kaya's father apparently didn't get killed by Kuro in this, which I believe in the live action he did, but I wonder what happened there. Like, I wonder if that's a thread that will come back eventually, and or if it's just like a, or maybe like even by the end of the arc, like it'll be wrapped up or something and we'll get some answer to it, but it feels weird, because it's like, is it meant to imply that like Kuro originally liked, like maybe he liked being there, and maybe then like working in the mansion, then maybe eventually when the dad died, he like, that was kind of what changed him and like changed him back to his old ways. I have no idea. I don't know. Because there was a whole interesting thing where he was talking about how he likes being able to live with a peace of mind, and he likes being able to live in this town where people like trust him and respect him, and they like him and everything like that. And it makes me wonder, like, was there a time with the dad when he was still alive where he kind of enjoyed just being a butler and like hanging around with the dad or whatever, and then when he died, he like decided, well, this is my opportunity, I can take the money. Like, I have no idea. Probably not, I'm guessing, you know? I don't think there's anything really hinting at that, just a theory that I'm coming up with, but it was peculiar that particularly the father wasn't killed by Kuro. So yeah, and I'm sure there has to be some reason for it, but yeah. Another thing is that I was very frustrated when Usopp was talking to Kaya, when he's trying to basically convince her that Klahadore is actually evil and is like trying to steal her money and everything. I was very frustrated in that scene because he was doing a very poor job of communicating. And I don't know, sometimes like this, it gets very annoying. Like there are a lot of scenes like this. Like you see a lot of Boy Who Cried Wolf kind of stories like this. And can I call an example right now to the top of my head? Absolutely not. But I feel like this has happened before, where it's like, you could have tried harder, you know? You could have explained things in a different way and been more patient with her, and like, you know, explained it like in many different angles and given reasons for why you're serious now, and you're like, I feel like he didn't try very hard. It was very frustrating, and yeah, so I didn't like that, like, unequivocally. I wish it was done a bit better, but it is what it is. Small thing, you know, in these 6 episodes. Then Zoro falls down. No, Nami falls down, slides down the oil that they put down, and then I think she grabs Zoro, and then Zoro falls down, and then she uses him as like a stepping stone to like basically get back to safety, and that was very funny. And I like the Zoro's rage at Nami because he just got sucked down there because of her, and then he literally got stuck there. One of the, you know, the best swordsman guy that we have at the moment, he's reduced to a gag in this case, where he's stuck down a hill because he can't get up it because of the oil. And it was very funny, so I like that. So we love Nami, we love Zoro when he's in funny situations, so yeah. Another thing we got revealed here is that Luffy can be unbelievably strong, where he basically, it looked like he was going to lift up the whole ship, but what happened is he ripped off the front of the ship. Now that's very cool and all, but this is something that I was already aware of, purely because I have seen that second movie, the Clockwork Island Adventure, where I remember I don't remember exactly what it was. I think he like stopped something from moving, or he like broke a wall or something, but he was unbelievably strong in that. So I already knew that he was basically strong, so this didn't like surprise me or anything, but it's cool to see, you know? One day, what will he achieve? Who knows? Another very small thing is that there was the instant transmission sound effect that was used at particular like fighting moments. And this isn't, again, it's not really a surprise to me, because I have heard that there's like a lot of, not heard like in the show, but I've heard like in the meta of the show, like people talking about it, that there is a lot of like overlap in sound effects and stuff from Dragon Ball Z, because it is like made by Toei Animation, both of them. So that was very funny to see the instant transmission sound effect for when a character, I think it was when the 2 cat people like moved very fast or something out of Zoro's way or something like that. But, you know, cool. We like familiar sound effects. And, oh, the final note I have is about, this was a very cute interaction, which is when Luffy is like pinned under the boat, or the boat's like thing that he pulled off, and then Nami comes and like steps on his head or whatever to wake him up, and then he wakes up and he's mad at Nami, and he's like he's very angry at her, and then as soon as he notices that her shoulder's in pain, he like his tone completely changes and he's like very concerned and he's like, Nami, is your shoulder injured or something? And I'm like, oh, this is like super cute. That he like changes on an instant, like actually does care about her. And I was like, oh, this is like very, very cute. So I like that. To be honest, that's all I have to say. Next time I will finish this arc, and who knows how much of the next arc I will watch. Now, if we're following the live action story, then I'm assuming it'll be Baratie, right, with Sanji, but I guess we'll see. At the very least, I will finish Syrup Village next time. I am interested how similar the conclusion will be. I feel like almost certainly everything will be very similar. Like, the high-level details will be like, the Hira's gonna get defeated by Luffy, the Kaya and Usopp are going to have their tearful goodbye as I think he promises to become a captain and come back or something like that. And then they get the Going Merry, which is their ship that they're going to have officially. I am curious if the ship they get will be one of Kaya's or if they literally will take that ship that the Hypnotist guy was on that Luffy broke. Like maybe they'll repair that and take that. I have no idea. So yeah, that's One Piece. I enjoy it. I'm still enjoying it. I am looking forward to getting to new stuff though that I'm not already familiar with. So yeah, see you next time.